What's up, guys? It's three-time NFL Pro Bowler, all-decade return specialist, Josh Cribbs. I want to welcome you to the College Sports Connection podcast, where Double A, Alex, and AJ host the Mid-American Conference best.
Everybody, welcome back to the College Sports Connection podcast. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. Joining me, as always, AJ the Guru.
What's going on, everybody?
AJ, welcome back. This is week 3 of our Mac Media Day interviews with so many great coaches. We had some great opportunities with some great people. We're down to our final 2, both from your alma mater.
Yeah, I was really excited about this one. We were able to talk to Coach Mike New and quarterback Drew Plitt of the defending MAC champions out of Ball State. And tell you what, we were both really excited about this one. There's so many great things to talk about with Coach New and Drew Plitt in regards to last season, the off season, and going into this season. And just, I have a lot of things in common with those guys being a Ball State alum. So we were able to talk shop a little bit about that, our time in Muncie, some of our favorite spots. We talked about Dancing Charlie. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, they had great content, great conversations with both of those guys, about 15 minutes each or so.
Mm-hmm.
We learned a lot about the Ball State program this year, some of their key losses, but a lot of their contributors just coming into this year, and just kind of Coach New's perspective on being a MAC champion, having played at Ball State, having won a bowl game as a coach. He lost one as a player. He talked a little bit about that, and that was a cool story he gave us there. And same thing with Drew Plitt, just the feeling of coming back into Ford Field. This is the first time he's been there since the MAC championship, and the feeling about that.
Sure.
And then we also just kind of chopped up a little bit about life in Muncie, because we all three share the same stories. A lot of fun. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this interview.
Yeah, I think I had a pretty unique perspective, not being a Ball State guy, being in on those interviews and listening and hearing you guys kind of interact about, again, Muncie, the atmosphere, the food, the campus, just all of that being what it really meant to be a Cardinal. So that was a really great time. And I am thankful to both Coach Mike New and to quarterback Drew Plitt, who has been named to quite a few watch lists this year. Just saw today he was named to the Manning quarterback watch list. So that was exciting for him. Another watch list accolade for him to hang on his hat. Just excited to see what Ball State does. Last year going 7-1, winning the MAC championship, and then winning their bowl game against San Jose State 34-13. Upwards and onwards for the Ball State Cardinals.
And finishing the year beating 2 ranked teams and finishing the year being ranked.
Sure.
Which is huge for Ball State. We also talked about the new indoor facility. I forgot to mention that a little bit ago. Because that's obviously this is the first season for that. So that's really great. That's what Ball State really needed. We talked a little bit about it. You'll hear it in the interview about how pro days used to go. And, how, I'm not saying unprofessional it was, but how it didn't live up to standards like it should have, but like it will now with the new facilities. We talked about that.
Sure.
How lacking the facilities were. So that was fun. Coach New really enjoyed that. He really enjoyed talking about that, bragging on his new facilities and his team. And we also trying to get him an invite to the golf facility, where you're still working on that.
Still working on that, but it's a long season ahead. So
absolutely.
We're here with defending quarterback, MAC championship quarterback, Drew Plitt, the best-looking guy out of Muncie right now, if I might add.
I can agree.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
The bow tie looks awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we leave here in December. You're a MAC champion. You come in here July 20th, defending MAC champion. Is it still the same feeling?
Still the same feeling, but a little bit different now that it's gone and passed, and moving on to the next year. So.
Sure.
Once training camp starts, it's on to the next one. That last year's championship is over with, and we're on to the next one.
Sure. Yeah, we talk about MAC championship, but we talk about a bowl win also.
Yeah.
For you to be able to lead that, that's got to be something special.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, to get the first bowl win in school history. It's just leaving a legacy of the team that we had this year. And I think that's what we're looking to do this year is build on that, defend as champions, and really leave the team better than when we found it.
Sure. So how are you feeling about going into this? I mean, you have guys coming back on both offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah.
Didn't lose a ton last year. Hopefully everybody comes back healthy, comes in strong. preseason camp here starts, what, a couple weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks from
2
now.
weeks, yeah. We're going to be going here soon.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Real veteran team, so I'm really excited. I think you look at the team. We had 3 big losses in Caleb, Antonio, and Antoine, but guys that will step in the role. And I think you look at the team that we have and the veteran leadership that we have, and guys are ready. They're ready to play, and we're excited.
Sure.
So can't say win a MAC title, can't say go undefeated.
He's
What's
a
a goal
guy.
for your team? What's something that maybe it's a personal goal, maybe it's a team goal. What's something that you want to accomplish this year?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff here today is a lot of preseason, watch list, awards, stuff like that. And I think, the mindset I have and that Brandon has and our whole team is the beginning of the year doesn't really matter. Those lists don't matter to us. Our goal is, to repeat, and I think we talk about a lot is New Year's Six. And in order to do that, you got to win every single game. Coming from the MAC, you got to win every game. Going into Penn State, you got to win that game. You got to go in to the MAC championship, win that, and to be able to have that opportunity to go to the New Year's Six bowl game. And I think that's kind of a goal of our team and of mine to be one of the first, actually the first Ball State team to go to a New Year's Six and win it, and probably one of the few that ever wins from a group of 5 team. Sure.
I mean, ending last year, beating 2 ranked teams, ending the season ranked is huge for the program.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there when there was a ranked team, and it was exciting as could be. We talk about, Penn State week 2, right? Week 2 or week 3. I mean, as a player, you've got to be excited for that. I mean, it's going to be in a different environment, 100+ thousand. It's going to be something different.
Yeah, and people think it's, like an intimidation thing. When I talk about college football, that's what I dream of. I dream of being in front of 100,000 people and the screams, not being able to hear yourself think. But and that's really what separates the good players from the great. Be able to settle down in those moments and in that big moment, being able to play and perform. And I look forward to it. I'm really excited, and I'm kind of hoping every game at the shoe is as packed as we can get it.
Sure.
It may not be 100,000, but
Sure.
get 22 to 25, standing room only.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you're an Ohio kid, so you've been down to Columbus, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah.
you've seen games, you know how
Yeah.
it is. Now, how are you enjoying the new indoor facility?
I love it. It's awesome. I can't thank the donors and everybody that went into getting that
You're
together.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody that kind of got that together, it's something that'll be utilized for years to come, and it really does help us. Talk about the Midwest, it gets real cold in the winter. So, getting the same work in that you can sustain in the off season from summer to winter now with that indoor is phenomenal.
Sure. I was telling Coach you about this earlier. I can remember watching not only pro days, but some preseason practices in the rec center on the turf field.
Yeah.
Like, that can't happen anymore.
Yeah,
Somebody's going to blow a knee out.
Yeah, just walking through on a rainy day in the fall, you just don't get the same work in. So now having that indoor, it's it's a whole new ball game for us.
You get a workout in the rec center and go to Quiznos upstairs.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
and
still there or not,
yeah, it
but
is, and you get to watch the football team warm up and all that. So
Okay. Well, I remember Willie Snead and Keith Wenning doing their pro days in
Yeah,
there, and I'm
yeah.
like, this is not right.
Yeah.
This is not right at all.
It's
But we're
tough,
back. They're moving up, which is huge. And I think it's what Ball State needed.
Yeah,
They put the
yeah.
golf facility in right there.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a football facility.
I'm trying to get in there
I
and
was,
hit a
we- I
couple
was just
shots.
going to ask you about
Yeah.
that. See, Coach Fleck's a friend of ours.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. Let them know I'm trying to get in there. And,
Coach New said the same thing.
Yeah.
So get in there.
We'll shoot him a message.
So we saw your swing over here. You probably, we need to get in there.
I may not be competing with the golfers, but I can hit a couple.
Sure. I mean,
we
get in the
saw the
simulators.
drive. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
On the side. Get in the simulators. That's a blast.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did want to ask you. You're a veteran on this team, and you benefited from veteran leadership
Yeah.
in your early years. What's something that you got from them that you're kind of passing on to the QB room, to the young guys that are coming up through the system?
Yeah, I think just when you talk about a quarterback, is the toughest thing is learning how to watch film, what to do with that. And I think when you learn how to watch it, it becomes a whole new ballgame. You get so much more knowledge out of the game that you understand it more, so that way it transitions to the field. So I think for me this year, I think a big thing is what I want to do is take a lot of those young guys and teach them how to watch film, what to look for, and really just learn how to play the position as a leader. And we have a completely veteran team that 20 out of 22 stars returning or whatever it is. That's what everybody's doing, is we're trying to teach and build a legacy of what we've been able to accomplish moving forward. And I think a lot of that is just teaching those guys how to watch film, which is one of the toughest things to do.
Sure.
So with Coach New being a former Ball State quarterback, what has he instilled on you just from a random conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a lot of little tidbits or things he knows, and having worked with Drew Brees.
Yeah,
and done what
and
he's done.
I would say more just what he's learned from Drew Brees and what, a lot of it's how to be a pro. And I've aspirations of playing next level. So being able to go to him about those questions and talk to him about, what does he do that set him apart? Why is he so good that I can take from that? And he's been a great part, man. And we have a great relationship where we go in and we just chop like normal Wednesday. We just chop it up for 15, 20 minutes, just talking about life. But like you learn so much in those 15 minutes because of the experiences that he had with the Saints, playing college football. The whole thing, being a scout, understanding what they look for, and how to go about being a pro.
I feel like he probably has an answer for every question you ask.
Just about. Yeah,
Okay.
just
He seemed-
about.
yeah. That's how it was when we were talking to him. It was like, okay, he probably knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great, though.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
awesome.
Especially for you. Now, you came under Riley Neal, right?
Yes.
So how did he help you?
Yeah,
Can you talk about what he
Riley
did?
was a great quarterback, and just being a competitor, obviously, I want to, be that guy that people talk about. But Riley was a great quarterback, and played really well at Ball State, and just seeing him, how he went about business every day. It was great to learn, and I think just taking that to the next step for me to be able to transition that into the NFL or whatever the next chapter in my life may be.
Sure. My last question, I know you probably have a few more, but my last question, what has it meant for you playing at Ball State? Just kind of not only, winning a MAC championship, winning the first bowl game, but just like being at Ball State as a player.
Yeah.
What has that really meant to you?
Yeah, I think early on I didn't understand the pride, but now I do. Being here it's been 5 full years, but at the end of it, 5.5, sixth year, sixth season.
I was a 6th year, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I get it.
whatever gets done,
Right.
whatever way to get done. But no, I mean, just taking that pride and being a Cardinal and what it truly means. You talk about brothers and Chug, but the people that are there, like you get to really experience. I think Ball State, like you get to experience, just not just athletics, but everybody outside of athletics, and you get to share that experience between the two. So I think just taking pride in being a Ball State Cardinal has been the biggest thing for me, is learning how to do that. And you have just the position I was in, like opportunities to go somewhere else, but I just could not see myself playing anywhere else but Ball State.
Sure.
Especially with the team that we have. I love my guys, and it helps too having my sister there as a volleyball player and having fun with her and competing that way. So it's been a blast, and I take a lot of pride in being a Ball State Cardinal.
I think one other game I wanted to ask real quick about Army. They come to town this
Yes.
year. The Army came when I was there. It was like 2014, I think it was. What an electric atmosphere that was, and what that will be this year. I mean, to go play against any Surface Academy is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
But to
yeah.
have them come to Muncie,
Yeah.
it's going to be ecstatic.
Yeah. The respect that I have for them to be doing what they're doing and go through, athletics, as an athlete, you go through a lot. But for them, I mean, not just being an athlete, but everything else on top of that is being in the Army, a Marine, whatever, a cadet, is just the ultimate respect. But I'm a competitor, so I go out there and it's a ball game for me, and I'm going out there. But outside the lines, off the field, I mean, the ultimate respect for them, it would be an awesome experience to be able to play against them. And
Because I think that was family weekend, like my sophomore
Yeah,
and
I can
junior
imagine,
year.
yeah.
It was electric.
Yeah.
There was so many people. It was.
And
so
it'll be
fun.
early on, so I think it'll be warm enough that everybody will be in the. I'm not sure. I just know a lot of people are getting tickets already that I know.
I'll be down there.
So I'm excited.
I'm in Fort Wayne, so I'll be down there.
Okay, yeah.
Not far at all.
Not far at all.
And so we.
Better see it every game.
Oh, well, nothing else going on. But yeah,
I
I was
heard
down
Drew
there.
was getting you a pass. That's what I heard. Right?
Exactly.
I can work on that.
I was down there Muncie a couple months ago. I saw the facility. I haven't been in it yet, but it looks fantastic. But I had to stop and get some cannons while I was going through town.
Oh yeah. Cannons, Mancinos.
Oh yeah. Well, see, Coach said you didn't come into camp or not coming into the season fat and happy.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like you're staying away from that stuff.
Yeah,
which is great.
I am staying away from
yeah.
it, trying to watch myself.
Sure. Because, it was always a late night Cousin Vinny's or Greeks.
Yeah.
Pizza X came in later on. And so, the Village was bad. It was bad. It was so much fun, though.
Yeah.
And in fact, you could, the Chick-fil-A and the atrium.
Yeah, atrium.
You could use your student
I
swipes
think
on
I ate
that.
way too much of that freshman year.
Oh, I did.
That's why I was a little heavy.
I think
did.
every student eats way too
I
much
did.
Chick-fil-A.
Well, you use your meal swipes for it.
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Well, Drew, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been
I
a
know you guys
blast.
get out here. Appreciate you coming up, and I'll see you down here in Muncie this year.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
Chirp,
Love
chirp.
the season. Cool. So, guys, we are here with Coach Mike New from Ball State. This is his 6th season with the Cardinals. Coach, thanks for joining us. We are excited to have you on the show.
Man, thank you for having me. It's so exciting to be here. That just means we're that much closer to the kickoff of the season, and it's great to be back into this building again and kind of reflect back on some awesome memories that we were able to create about 7 months ago, and just a lot of hard work that went into that.
Sure. Well, speaking of that, 7 months ago, winning the MAC championship, it still feels like you still feel giddy like you were here 7 months ago now.
I do to some degree, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just because I'm so proud of the players because they stayed the course. They just kept working hard, and there's no shortcuts to success. We had a lot of growing pains that we had to endure early in the process. We were getting beat handsomely back in 2017 by 30 and 40 points, but these guys just stayed together and kept working hard, kept believing in one another, and such a great message to pass on to future teams and to anybody really that you really, if you stay the course and you just continue to work hard, you can accomplish anything you want.
Off air, we talked a little bit about those rough times. How do you get past that? Is it getting the right guys in the right spot? Is it getting the right recruits, the right players?
It's all about recruiting and developing. And for me, even during those challenging days, I still wanted to make sure I had a positive approach every day with the team. Wanted to make sure, and any time we had a team meeting or any time I addressed them in the locker room after the game, just to encourage them, like, hey, man, tough times never last. Tough people do. I know it stinks, but one day down the road, we will benefit, and you will reap the rewards of staying together and just continuing to work hard. Have a great attitude every day. If you have a great attitude and you have a great work ethic, look out, man. You can accomplish a lot, and that can carry you on down the road in life as well.
Absolutely. Now, has that recruiting pitch that you had back in the 90s changed now that you're sitting on the other side of the couch talking to parents and players?
Still, it's all about relationships. You want, my goal is to make sure that the families, significant others, whoever's involved in the recruiting process, do I trust who I'm dropping my son off to? And you got to feel great about whose hands that you're putting him into, who am I turning him over to for this chapter of his life to have not only success on the field, success in the classroom, and ultimately to go be a difference maker in the world. And that's the part about college football that I absolutely love, that challenge of, I know all guys want, they dream of, they want to play in the National Football League, and that's great. And we try to help them in every way possible. But my goal is to make sure they're set up for life after football whenever that day arrives.
Sure. You guys are playing Penn State this year. That's a big one, for us as fans watching a MAC school go play a Big Ten, a lot of battles there. How important is that for you and your players to get the opportunity to play in Happy Valley? Yeah,
to play on that stage. You think a couple years ago, we played at Notre Dame, and that was a great opportunity for all of our guys. A lot of these young men on the 2021 team were part of that experience at Notre Dame. And so
close.
We're going to a place like Penn State, storied history, great tradition, packing the house. You've seen a lot of great games that are on Saturday night or whenever it may be, and you see a packed house there. So a great opportunity for our guys. It'll be extra emotional, being the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. I'll never forget where I was at that day, and so to be able to take the field and honor on a day like that and try to honor all those that lost loved ones with the way we play the game is something that's really special.
Sure. Now, when you were a player, which Power 5 schools did you play at? Did you play at any Happy Valleys or anything like that?
Yeah, the biggest one that we played back then was Clemson. Now, they weren't quite the Clemson of today. Still a great program, but I'll never forget sneaking out of the locker room because I wanted to see the bus go around the other side of the stadium, drop off the players, run down the hill, and smack the rock. I was like, I'm going to walk out here. I got to see that.
It's a great tradition.
I got to see that.
Sure.
But that would have been probably one of our biggest opponents. We played at Syracuse back then when they had Marvin Harrison. So we played some cool places, but the Clemson one probably would have stuck with me the most.
Now, can you take that experience into coaching when you're going into Happy Valley and how to prep for such a big game?
Well, you always want to prepare for the noise. That's the one thing because it's an environment, there's 100,000 people, so the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, what if we can't hear the snap count? So making sure that you practice those situations. We'll have extra speakers and a sound system at practice where we have the noise up so loud that you can't hear a thing, but you have to still go out and execute. And so if you can't hear, got to make sure you're focused on watching the ball. Communication is so critical when you talk about with the sideline, with the coaching staff. So we'll work on all those things starting in training camp and just make sure. Obviously I'm one of those guys that believes that hey, yes, it's a bigger opponent. Yes, it's a Power 5 school, but it's a great opportunity for our guys to show they can stack up against anybody.
Sure. You mentioned getting into training camp here. How important has it been your strength staff been this offseason, prepping for a full season? Because these freshmen obviously coming into their sophomore years, there's only 6 games. Now they're prepping for the long haul. How important have they been to you and your staff this year?
Yeah, and as you mentioned when we kicked it off here, I'm going into my 6th year. I credit our strength and conditioning staff. Ben Armour, our director of strength and conditioning, has done an unbelievable job because, especially in the Mid-American Conference, we don't get the finished product coming from high school. We have to develop them. They're going to change so much. Their body's going to change. They're going to add weight the right way. And you could say that at every college program, but what our strength and conditioning staff does in terms of development, I would put up against anybody in the country. And so having a normal off season where you're able to be around him, he has such a specific program for the winter, such a specific program for spring when we're in spring football, such a specific program for winter and the points of emphasis. So it's exciting to see our guys be so bought into that part of it, knowing how big of an edge they can gain that way.
Now, having been around the program like I was a couple of years ago, I'll put Ball State's weight room up against anybody's. It's incredible.
I agree with you. And obviously, I'm an alum, and my opinion is probably biased a little bit. But I love, when you look at our guys and how hard they work in the weight room and our strength and conditioning program, and how Coach Armour and his staff run that, it's as good as it gets, and very appreciative of the job they do every day.
Sure. Now, how are you enjoying the new facility?
Game changer. That I still have to pinch myself because I think that might have been talked about even back when I was finishing up my playing days. But
one of those, we'll get to it eventually.
We'll get to it eventually, but to have that facility open up the first part of April, we were able to get in there for spring practice. It is state of the art. It's the best indoor facility I've ever been in, and when June happened and we were able to get recruits back on campus, to be able to utilize that, show them that, see the upgrades that we've made to our facilities and to our program. That was an exciting time for us as a staff.
Yeah, I haven't been into the new one yet. I've seen the construction of it when I was down there last time. I had to go down and get some cannons.
There you go. We love cannons in Muncie.
It's brutal, isn't it? It's brutal. But you had to stop and I checked out. And now you've made your way over to the new indoor golf facility. Are you over there swinging the clubs at all?
I just don't get the invitation over there as much as I would like because I need work on my golf game.
Well, Coach Fleck's a friend of ours.
There you go.
So we can make that happen.
Yeah,
we'll talk to him.
I'm hoping that there's some sort of trade-off that we can make now. There's some sort of trade agreement because I don't know how much that we could do for him before, but maybe now that we got the indoor and maybe, who knows?
It's right across the street.
Maybe there's a trade-off somehow, some way.
Maybe get the golfers sideline passes.
There you go.
There you
go. I like where your head's at here.
And you're an alum, I'm an alum. It's just so great. I've only been out 4 years, but the changes around campus are just unbelievable. I was a La Follette guy.
Yep.
La Follette's gone. You were too?
Me too.
I was Knott's Edwards.
I was Clevenger.
You're Clevenger, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And Clevenger's still hanging on. That's
Is
the
it
last
still
wing
hanging on?
left.
Oh,
it's
mine's
going down
gone.
soon, though.
I was the 4th floor because I transferred in from Vincennes University.
Oh, yeah.
So I came in with my brother. He was a freshman. I was a sophomore, into my sophomore year. I figured, okay, I'm an upperclassman. I can get a good, nice dorm. I'm in La Follette with all freshmen. Here I am, 21. Like, this is not going to end well at all. But it was fun. I was older than the RA. We had a good time. But it's a bummer to see that down. But the upgrades as a whole, just incredible.
That's the first thing all the recruits and their families say when they come to Ball State. They're blown away by the campus. When you drive down through McKinley, the bell tower didn't look like that when I was here. And the upgrades and the amount of money that's been committed to improve our campus and facilities and the university, it's really awesome. And that's consistent with everybody that comes on campus. They're blown away. They had no idea that's what to expect when they visited our campus.
I still don't get the point of that roundabout back there. It makes no sense. Took away parking. There's already not enough parking on campus. So that's another story for another day.
Problem in general. There's just never enough parking anywhere on any campus.
No. Now, back to football. Here we're talking about Drew Plitt. Him coming back after winning a MAC championship and a bowl game. He has to be your guy to lead this team. How much faith are you putting in him and trust in him to lead these younger guys into a full season? Because he has done a full season. So how important is he to you?
Couldn't be prouder of Drew Plitt, how hard he's worked to get to where he's at right now. He came from a high school where they ran a wing T offense. And for him to get where he's at right now, he committed to hard work. What he was doing when nobody was watching in a dark film room, studying the tape on his own, learning the system, and obviously what he did last year, he put himself in a separate category. He won a MAC championship championship, to help lead his team to a MAC championship. He led our program the first bowl win in the history of the program. That's a separate category. And to see how hard he's worked this offseason, he's not fat and happy. He's so determined to continue writing that chapter. The final chapter is not written yet. And, he took advantage of getting the extra year that the NCAA granted, but he's worked so hard, and I trust Drew so much, and he wants more responsibility at the line of scrimmage. He wants to have the opportunity to call some of his own plays. I'm all for that, and so I can't wait to give him some of those responsibilities at the line of scrimmage because he's earned them. He's a great leader, great mentor, very smart young man. He's got goals past the college level, and I'm a firm believer that he has what it takes to make it.
Absolutely. So you say he's not fat and happy. He's staying away from Cannons, staying away from Greeks. I get it. I understand it.
He is committed to the strength and conditioning program.
That's good to hear.
That's where
he's got discipline. So even though we rode up together, and they had plenty of options along the way where we could stop and get something for food, but they opted for a sandwich because that was because they had enough discipline.
Sure, I'll go down there and eat what he's not. I'll take care of that. That's not a problem.
You guys have been picked to win the MAC again, repeat and everything. That's kind of been a curse in the past.
Yeah.
What have you guys kind of seen, and what are you guys doing to make sure that that's not a curse, that you guys do repeat?
Yeah, and with all due respect, that's a piece of paper. And, it's July. We haven't played a game yet, and I go back to January. When our guys, we won the championship, we won the bowl game, everybody had a chance to go home and get away for a little bit, for 2.5 weeks. But when they came back to work, we went back to day one of the process again, the 6 a.m. workouts. We had a one-at-a-time gray T-shirt on with black block letters.
I've seen that
and our strength coach on the back put a target. Everybody's coming for us. And so we went back to work. And all of our guys, to their credit, I had conversations with every one of them one-on-one. No time for being fat and happy. If you're coming back and you're taking advantage of the additional year that you've been granted, we're going back to work. So unless you better be ready to go and love getting up at 6 a.m. for those workouts because that's all part of the process. And I give credit to our guys that are our upper class players, our leadership council, because it's been a great attitude all off season. We've worked harder than we've ever worked, and fortunate to go to battle with this group of guys.
And you mentioned your players going home for a few weeks. How important was that to them? Not only coaches to get away from the game, but the players to go home and see their families who they probably haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I think for a lot of those guys, we played in a lot of empty stadiums last year because of COVID. So really it was because they did a good job of staying on campus and going home and laying low and making good social decisions. So a lot of them didn't have a chance to see their families. So once it was all said and done, it was a chance to go home and really enjoy being with your family for the first time, to enjoy what we just accomplished and decompress, get away from the game, heal up. You got a lot of bumps and bruises. The season takes a toll on you. We played in some cold weather games. So it was good for those guys to get away and refresh again and know that, hey, the process starts all over again. And, what we did is in the past now, and now it's time to, work hard on trying to sustain success.
Sure. It had to be nice spending a little of December in Arizona, though.
We could have stayed out there a few more days. That would have been awesome for my liking, because it was a short, abbreviated trip since COVID. But that stay couldn't have been any better. For the short and sweet, and how awesome the Arizona Bowl and that committee, they did such a great job of hosting us and making it as good as they could, knowing that there were certain things we just simply couldn't do with bowl week festivities because of COVID. But it was as good as you could ever ask for.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of the win, it doesn't get a whole lot better.
What a great way to ring in the new year.
It really is.
It really was.
From fans, because I was excited, and my parents were excited because my mom's a MAC alum, so it's like everybody's loved it.
Yeah.
And being a Ball State guy, being close to Muncie, it was just so much fun. I wanted to go down there and celebrate, but I'm like, I probably should stay away from that town for a little while.
Yeah,
I'm not 21 years old anymore.
And I wanted to celebrate too, and I didn't even make it to midnight that night. I was already asleep. I was so exhausted.
Well, yeah,
but I did have a good meal though.
Yeah, good meal. That time change probably too.
Yes.
That time change. But yeah, that bowl game, obviously, you played in one, you've coached and you've won one. Is that kind of full circle? Being able to accomplish that?
It's a motivating tool for me every day. In my office, I got, a framed jersey. The last game I ever played as a student athlete, Ball State, I got the jersey framed, and we won the championship that year. But the last time I took that jersey off was a loss in a bowl game in Las Vegas. Yeah. And so it really did feel like kind of come full circle. I can take that jersey down now and know that the last jersey that we put on that year in 2020 was a win in a bowl game. So it's a motivator. It's definitely a motivator that, and now the goal is obviously to sustain success. Obviously, love being at Ball State. It's my alma mater, and want to just make sure that we do our part to make the community and the university proud.
Sure. One last question here. I got to ask about the old school Charlie Cardinal logo.
It's a great logo.
Is that going to be? You not a fan? Do you?
Okay, good.
Oh, okay, good. It's the best.
We wouldn't shut up about it. Every episode we recorded after you guys would wear it, we're like, man, that's like the best logo. Doesn't matter how old it is. We love that logo.
Yeah, and let me echo what you're saying. I absolutely love that logo and can't get enough of it.
Sure.
And I would bet you if you ask all of our players, there's a little bit of a good luck charm that came from Dancing Charlie, and our guys want to keep that on the helmet because obviously it helped us. We won 7 straight, so we're still on that. So obviously our guys want to continue because that's been a good luck charm to some degree. But Dancing Charlie's been very popular. Have been heavy topic of conversation, I absolutely love it.
Let's keep
kids love it too.
Oh yeah, let's keep him around a little bit.
That's right.
I need to give me some Dancing Charlie swag.
I want one of those, and I'm not even a Ball State
I can't
guy.
get enough of that gear. That's the other thing. It's like the bookstore's selling it now. They're at TIS, and so you go there and
well,
you
the
get a
jacket you
chance
got
to.
at the game was fantastic too.
Oh,
the Nike
man.
golf jacket.
Yes.
That looked awesome.
Yes.
That looked awesome. Well, Coach, that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. We really appreciate your time. We're looking forward to seeing Ball State back in action again this fall. Looking forward to seeing you play at Penn State and see the season. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it and excited that college football is right around the corner.
Absolutely. We'll appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
See ya.